Right, good morning. Welcome to another Red Sea virtual midweek masterclass. Today my name's Adrian Rowe. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some strategies for search success based on a large eye tracking study that Red Sea conducted on the Google search engine results page, the Google SERPs. So let me just share my screen and put that on full screen like that. Okay. So as I said, these are key findings from an eye tracking study that we did. You can actually find today, I'm going to share with you 7 strategies for search success, but you can actually find a lot more information than we could serve today, that we can cover by downloading our completely free white paper, The Secret Life of Search, which covers 10 different areas. It's had an awful lot of press nationally and internationally. I and my colleague Katie have both been interviewed for podcasts about it. And it's even been covered by the internationally renowned SEO guru Rand Fishkin. So let me just tell you a little bit about the background to the study first, and then we'll dive right in. So we think it's still the biggest eye tracking study of the Google search results page in the world. We interviewed 66 respondents. We split them into pre-family, family and post-family groups for analysing by demographic. We eye track people both on desktop and on mobile devices. And the typical interview lasted around 30 minutes. We asked people to conduct 6 or 7 search tasks, and we then did a 10-minute post eye tracking interview to find out why they did, what we observed. We covered 8 sectors, all consumer sectors: travel, hospitality, financial services, and so on. Altogether, we researched 41 search terms, and we captured just over 400 search journeys on eye tracking. Today, I'm going to share 7 of those findings with you across a range of sectors and a range of search terms. The only other thing perhaps I want to do before we dive into those strategies for search success is to just tell you a little bit about what you're going to see. There are a number of outputs that you can get from eye tracking research. The 3 main ones are these. The first one that you'll see quite a lot of is a screen recording. The little red dots are called fixations. They're sort of millisecond in length, and they're where we absorb little sound bites of information. The jumps between each fixation are called saccades, and this is how we absorb information. So you'll see screen recordings, you'll see heat maps. Perhaps you see heat maps in the press or in other research studies, but this is a typical heat map of a search results page. The hotter areas, the areas of more focus of attention, are redder. The areas of some focus of attention turn to green. And then the third kind of output that you can get from eye tracking is called a gaze plot, and you can do aggregated gaze plot of multiple search sessions. And two great things about a gaze plot: first of all, the size of the circle represents the length of time in milliseconds that the fixation took. So areas with bigger circles, people spent longer looking at that pause point. And we also get a numerical sequence, so we can see what they looked at first, second, third, and so on. That's a gaze plot. You'll see all of these in the findings that I'm about to share with you. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into some strategies that we uncovered for search success. The first of those I'd like to talk about is one that's got a lot of coverage in the sort of marketing press. It's featured snippets, sometimes called position zeros. If you haven't come across featured snippets before, they're sort of little information boxes that appear at the top of the search results page, typically when you're conducting a more informational search, but they're extremely common. You'll also see people also ask questions further down the page. Our recommendation to our clients when we're looking at SEO strategies is to think about the pre-purchase questions in their sector and build featured snippets into their core SEO content strategy, because featured snippets are very valuable. They're called position zeros because they appear above the top 10 search results. We found in our research that our respondents welcomed them. They captured a lot of attention, as I'll show you in a moment, and they definitely influenced click choices. So we recommend to our clients that they monitor not only their own featured snippets, but also the competitor featured snippets. Here's an example. This is a heat map of a male family respondent searching for teeth whitening. And this respondent had already modified the teeth whitening search phrase to teeth whitening, is it safe? So it was a more informational search. And as you can see, a featured snippet appeared at the top and it gained a lot of attention. And he told us, I like the information boxes, as he called them, because they provide an indication of what the answer is. Here's another one in a different market sector. This is people searching for river cruises. And here, the featured snippet with the image against it is for Viking river cruises. And as it happened, Viking river cruises was the first organic result underneath. So the featured snippet not only gained a lot of attention, but it also influenced the click choice. The majority of the people, 75% of those people, clicked on the Viking river cruises result. Finally, here's one on a mobile device. This is a family female respondent looking for information about shea butter or shea butter, however you choose to pronounce it. She's focused on a featured snippet. She then goes into the people also ask sections, and she opens up the people also ask button to get more information. She's looking for information, and Google is very helpfully providing her with the most commonly asked questions. It's very, very powerful, people also ask. So like drop down featured snippets, if you like. 17% of our respondents also clicked on the people also ask drop down to influence their first click. That's number one. Let's look at number two. In some market sectors, for example, financial services, hospitality, restaurants, hotels, you will find that you are up against aggregators. In financial services, people like Money Supermarket or Go Compare. In travel, hotels, restaurants, you're very often up against Booking.com or Expedia, aggregators. So our recommendation to our clients in those markets is, if they find the search engine results page is dominated by aggregators, focus on niche terms and long tail search terms downstream of the dominant site, or in an extreme case, build your own aggregator, which is what the Admiral Group did with confused.com, for example. And here's why. This sort of explains in a nutshell why the aggregators are so popular. They dominate because of familiarity, because of the range, because of the speed and ease of use, the convenience of it. This respondent said, I want it to take as little time as possible. This is car insurance, which is a commodity purchase and seen as a bit of a bind every year. I've got an MSM, a Money Supermarket account with all my car details on it. So this respondent saw it as convenient. And in fact, we found when we asked a group of respondents to search for cheap car insurance UK, in practice, 100% of them clicked on an aggregator, 64% on Money Supermarket, 27% on Compare the Market, 9% on Go Compare. So what chance do you stand if you're an independent car insurance provider? Go downstream. Here is an aggregator in the travel sector. So this is a younger male looking for luxury hotels in London. And he went almost immediately, within 4 seconds, I think, to Booking.com, because he sees Booking.com as an alternative search engine when he's looking for travel-related sort of information. Okay, number 2. Number 3 in our search success tactics is about Google Maps. When we're looking for location-based information, location-based services, people will often choose to go for Google Maps, and Google very handily, if they have an indication that you're looking for a geo search, then they will provide a map and what's called a local pack to help you. So our recommendation for this, and I'll show you why in a moment, is to optimize your Google My Business listing. And not only that, but also ask for reviews on Google at every touch point. And here's why. You'll see in a moment. So here, for example, is a younger female looking for luxury hotels in London again. And you can see that she very quickly goes to the map bar. She actually sort of narrows down the prices, and she's immediately looking at particular areas of London. Google very helpfully shows prices on little sort of map markers, and she can narrow it down to an area. She can narrow it down to a price range, and she can very quickly, in fact, she says it better than I could. It's easier to lay out everything to see if something is central or not when we asked her why she'd use the Google map. Let's pause that one and take a look at another one. Here is a family male respondent doing the same search, but this time on a desktop. You can see his focus of attention is south of the river. He obviously is looking for a luxury hotel south of the river. Perhaps he's familiar with it. And you'll see that as he hovers over a button, the review stars come up, which is even handy because he hadn't even looked for a hotel. He hadn't even sort of looked at a hotel yet, but he's already seeing information provided by Google Maps as to what kind of review ratings it's getting from consumers. And there is Google My Business. So he clicked on a single map pin, if you like, and up comes the Google My Business information box, which really helpfully gives him some basic information about sort of prices and room availability. It gives him some initial pictures of the hotel, and below, as you'll see in a moment, it gives a whole host of reviews about that product or service. He hasn't even reached a website yet. He's still effectively on the search engine on Google Maps. Here's an example that shows why those reviews are so important. If I stop that one, play this one. This is back to teeth whitening again. Again, it's a modified search now, teeth whitening M33. The Google map and the local pack comes up. This respondent immediately dives onto the Google map, and he's already got a Google My Business box up, and he's carefully reading through the reviews. You can see how carefully he's reading those reviews. Google also helpfully provides alternatives at the bottom with a little image, little thumbnail image, and he's searched for another one now. And again, he's got the Google My Business results up. So if your business, if you have multiple locations for your business, or if people are likely to input geographical searches about your products or services, then your Google My Business page can put you in pole position on Google Maps. Okay, number 4. So we talked about maps. Now we want to talk about visual searchers, because we found a significant minority of the people in our study tended to opt for a visual way of searching rather than a text-based way of searching. It was just the way their mind works. It's also particularly relevant to certain market sectors, as you'll see. So our recommendation to our clients when we're developing an SEO strategy is to make sure that every single image in their business is named well. It's alt-tagged. Alt-tagging is a piece of code that notionally is for giving visually impaired readers a description of the image that they may not be able to see. Make sure that the image is captioned and make sure it's compressed so it loads fast on the web. I mean, Google will find it in relation to relevant searches. An awful lot of searches in categories like e-commerce, fashion, say food, holiday destinations are image led. We start by looking for something that appeals, or we start by looking for some inspiration. And in fact, this is such an important tactic that sort of probably the world's leading SEO guru, Rand Fishkin, actually did an entire whiteboard Friday on it. And there you can see his whiteboard with a series of tips and tactics for exploiting your imagery to attract searchers. I'll show you 3 different ways that people undertook visually inspired visual searches. This first one is about Pinterest. So we asked a male respondent to search for a corner TV unit, and he diligently read through some of the search results, but then went very quickly to Pinterest to take a look at, to get some ideas about what kind of style of TV units were available and what kind of style appealed to him. And interestingly, he then went back to the search results and then picked, and we'll come back to this later, he then picked out an article about the 10 best TV stands on the Independent. He told us, I use Pinterest a lot to get more ideas, but I never buy through them. Nevertheless, the starting point of narrowing down his search was through Pinterest. I'll stop that one, move on. Here is another mobile search. This is a younger female looking for party dresses UK. You can see the shopping carousel comes up at the top, and she pretty quickly dives into looking for inspiration and looking for styles that she likes on Google Shopping. So Pinterest from the search results interface, Google Shopping. 14% of our respondents first clicked on a visual source for shopping or Google Images. I'll show you an example of that now. So this is a male respondent looking for men's checked shirts. And he took a bit of a look through the shopping results and some of the text-based results. As you can see there, he clearly wasn't getting what he needed. He then went to Google Images. Before this, we did this study. I never would have thought of searching like but what a brilliant search results page that is. He's got a range of styles available to him. He can now, Google helpfully gives him a color bar across the top, so he can narrow it down by choice of colors. And as ever mindful of the need to make money from this page, the top bar of results there are Google Shopping results. He told us that he clicked on the Images tab to see a lot more choices and to look through different websites. Okay, number 5. We talked about imagery. Let's talk about words, because our experience is that great copy can earn eyeballs and clicks, especially when people are searching for something new. So, the way we encourage our clients to think about it is that every search result is an ad. Write a great headline, a title tag, and a good body copy, a meta description, and you'll attract clicks and improve your rankings. We found that particularly when searchers are looking for new products or sources, copy that stands out earns clicks. And things like the 10 best, do's and don'ts, they're key strategies, how to as well. So here is male family, back to luxury hotels, London again. And he relatively quickly clicked on an editorial result, if you like, a newspaper result. It was the Telegraph, in fact. So he's actually diligently searched through the first page of search results, but then he's chosen to go to the Telegraph, and he clicked on the Telegraph because of the headline. It was something like 10 best luxury hotels, top 10 best luxury hotels. Here's another example of a searcher that is on a mobile device looking for cheap cruises. And this searcher went pretty quickly to Planet Cruise, because having scanned through the search results, Planet Cruise was offering a headline that attracted him. The headline offered a 25% off deal. So you see that within a few seconds, this search should go back to the top. We see upward, downwards and back up scrolling quite commonly, and he's now clicked through to Planet Cruise. And then finally, just a heat map. This is a searcher, a male family respondent looking at men's check shirts. He clicked on the ad at the top because it had a great price offer on it. And I thought it's nice to get decent shirts with a discount. I wouldn't have clicked on it otherwise. Somebody like Charles Towett, I think. But again, you can see the focus of his attention. He liked the discount from a high quality shirt maker. So number 6, enhanced site links. If you don't know what enhanced site links are, they're a PPC tactic, but I'll show you what an enhanced site link looks like. We recommend to clients that they always use their enhanced site links because they give you extra valuable real estate on the Google search engine results page. And the great news is enhanced site links are no longer restricted purely to branded terms. You'd always get enhanced site links for your own brand, but now you can get enhanced site links if you've got good quality scores. So you can optimize the copy, you can rotate for seasonality. They're a very powerful PPC tactic. So here's a couple of examples. ASOS, first of all, promoting the student discount. Students get 20% off, and their new in men's clothing range, and then Wallace promoting their must-have petites and a 30% off pre-Black Friday offer. Couple of examples. This is a gaze plot, and we're back in financial services again. And it's probably going to be, you'll see that the top PPC ad in this case gets by far the most attention. And the reason for that, I think, is a lot to do with the fact that they've been able to achieve enhanced site links. It's Money Supermarket, and they've got an over 50s insurance site link and a women's car insurance site link, which even if you don't click directly on the site link, it still gives you more confidence, and there's more sort of information available to you immediately in the Google search result. Here's another one. This is Shearings, earning a click. They have enhanced site links for river cruises. And the respondent who clicked said, I'd heard of Shearings before, but I always thought they did coach holidays more than anything. They didn't know that Shearings offered river cruises. So the final search success tactic that I'm going to share with you today is about informational content. We've seen a couple of examples of it already, but to a certain extent, very often, particularly bigger and more considered purchases or more expensive purchases will start with a fair bit of research. We're used to getting information back from Google very, very quickly nowadays. So we can do a bit of research before we buy that new TV or, an expensive outfit for an occasion. And that means that, great if you can get into, if you're a luxury hotel and you can get into the Independent's top 10 luxury hotels London. But if you can't get your brand into those national media articles, which is very difficult, then create articles yourself to answer the most common customer questions. And there are tools available to identify the most common customer questions. We found that people who are in the research phase of a purchase process, they're looking for information, they're posing questions to Google. So facts, benefits, things you need to know, how to, they all provide useful pre-purchase reassurance that maybe helps you get ahead of the pack and get into their potential list of suppliers, their shopping repertoire, ahead of your competitors. So here's an example of that. This is an older female looking for information about shea or shea butter, and she searches on the Google search results interface, but she fairly rapidly clicks on an article. She found there was a lot of sort of she wanted information before she purchased, and up came an article from Superdrug, in this case a blog article, about the benefits of shea butter. So she liked that. I wanted to look more at the benefits of shea butter, so I clicked on that blog article. Pause that one, show you my final example. Back to teeth whitening again. This was a younger male who checked his way all the way through the first page, and he told us, when we asked him why he clicked on the click he made, he told us because the first page was all buy, buy, buy. So he went on to the second page in order to find some more useful information, some pre-purchase reassurance about teeth whitening. So that's it really. So I know it's a lightning tour, but there are 7 standout strategies for search success. Aim for featured snippets in your core SEO strategy and your content strategy. If you're in an aggregator dominated market, focus on niche and long tail search terms. If you're in a geographically dependent market, hotels, restaurants, dentists, optimize your Google My Business listing and ask for those all important reviews at every single touch point. People will review if you ask them to and tell them where to do it. Number 4, make sure for those visual searches that every image your business owns is named well, alt tag, compressed to load fast, and you'll attract clicks from your imagery. Bear in mind that copy is really important. Every search result is an ad. Write a great headline, write good body copy to attract clicks and to improve your rankings, because Google will reward a well-clicked, lower ranking search result with a higher ranking. If you're using PPC, don't forget about those valuable enhanced site links that give you more real estate on the page. And finally, in your content strategy, if you can't get your brand into the national media, then create the articles yourself to answer commonly asked questions. You can find out more in the white paper, The Secret Life of Search. There are 10 standout strategies for search success in that. You can check out more of if you're interested in the screen recordings and the heat maps and the gaze plots, you can check out all of our, well, not all, but a lot of useful snippets on our YouTube channel. And it just remains for me to thank you, and also to thank my 2 really important collaborators on the eye tracking study, Katie Whitaker and Deanna Agop. Thank you very much for your time today. Goodbye.